What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another video. This is going to be a little different, and the reason it's going to be a little different is because I want to give you my idea on what I think is happening. Nobody knows what's going to be in Shattered Space. The expansion is supposed to come out this spring, which we are in right now. And some people say it's going to be about joining the House Varun. I don't want to do that. I don't care about the House Varun. And not that this matters, but Varun it's spelled incorrectly in the game, but there is an actual word called Varun. It's from ancient Mesopotamian. It's almost a dead language now, but Varun means truth. And there's a reason why I know that. So let me give you a quick background on myself, and then I'm going to give you my theory on what is happening, what I would do if I was writing a story. And I want to hear what you think is happening, and what you think, or the way you would write the story. So I've been writing for over 37 years. I wrote my first book when I was 7 years old, my second book when I was 10 years old, and my third book when I was 11 years old. I published 3 undergraduate degrees in political science, law, and social science. I published 2 graduate degree papers, one on contemporary U.S. history and the other on George Washington. I published 4 poems, which won me a couple of awards, and I published my first book in 2008, my second book in 2010, and although I do have other books that I can release, I haven't written in a long time. But the reason I want to know what you guys think is because I'm a social scientist, and we like to know what people are thinking. We like to observe. And not because we want to tell somebody, oh, your opinion is wrong. No, we want to just hear what other people's opinion is, because we are just curious, and it leads for a fun debate. And I'm not going to talk about like politics or religion because I don't want to piss anybody off. But this would be a fun way to talk about it, in my view anyway. So I'm going to give you my idea on what I think is happening. Nobody knows like I said, nobody knows what Shattered Space is about. But let me give you my idea of what's happening here in the story, and then I would really like to know what you believe is happening in the story in the comments below. Just be cordial to each other and cordial to me. If you agree, you can agree. If you like the way somebody, gives their interpretation of what's happening, or if you like what I say, that's great. If you don't, just don't be, mean to anybody. I mean, people have been pretty good on my videos, so I hope you do the same. And I definitely want to hear what you guys think, because I think it's fascinating. Being that I'm a social scientist, I want to know what people are thinking. And maybe I do look at other things like politics and other things, but like I said, I don't talk about that shit here. So I do use myself as a social scientist for everything. So here's my theory, and then you tell me what you think is going on. When you first go through the Unity, you don't know what's going to happen next. You find yourself, the first time you go through the Unity, back at Argos, and you're now something different. You're Starborn. You have powers now. And you're made to believe that you've gone to another universe. That window that you go through leads you into a new universe. What if I told you I don't believe that it's a new universe? What if I told you that I just believe that the person that you're looking at, that looks like you, is just resetting time at that time period, because he, and it is a he, in my opinion, I'm going to tell you why too, he wants to see how you're gonna react. And there's a reason why I think he wants to see how you react, because he asks, what will your choices be? Who will you be? What will you do? And Albert Einstein believes that time was circular, not linear. Some people believe that time is linear, where you can move back and forth. A lot of scientists believe that going into the future is absolutely possible when technology gets better, but not able to go backwards in time. Well, Albert Einstein believed in two different things. Albert Einstein believed that time was circular, not linear. So it was always happening over and over and over again. But he also believed that time was an illusion. And this is where this comes in for me. Now, when you go to the Unity a few other times, you might see everybody as children. You might see everybody as yourself. You might see everybody as, the hunter that's killed everyone. You might see all of the people for Constellation, including yourself, as one of the members of Constellation. I think, at least my speculation is, that the person that you're looking at when you go through the Unity, whether you're playing as a male or a female in the game, is the first Starborn. And when you go through through the Unity, I don't believe you're going through multiple universes. I think there's just one. It's the universe that you're currently in. And I think I know, if it was myself writing this, when you go to Earth, for example, to find out how the grav drive was created, and you go to Earth to find out that Victor Eisen, or Isa, whichever way it is, if I'm saying it wrong, it's because I don't remember the last name, that the reason he goes back in time to give them the equations on how to do the grav drive is because in my opinion, there was an accident that happened that caused a tear in time and space. And it caused this tear that created this place that he's in and made him a Starborn. And it took him a while to figure out how he could travel back. And he did. I mean, he said so in his last message. Victor Eisen says, I had time missing. And he said, I met myself. And he's the one who gave him the equations to get the grav drive, told him how there was going to be a future where they do something incredible, traveling through the stars and everything like that, and blah, blah, blah. And the reason he goes back in time is so that he can fix what happened, so that there's not an accident, so that he can go back to being a normal person. Now here's where it gets tricky. He goes back in time, he gives him the correct equations to make this work, but it doesn't change the fact that he's still stuck where he is. I believe that the accident that may have happened, similar to what happens with Raphael when you go to the Science Institute, where you're going back and forth what you think is another universe, that even when he goes back in time, it won't change anything, because the tear in the space-time continuum makes him stuck there. And he could fix the problem, but I believe that maybe what happened was he stopped whatever catastrophic event happened, whatever happened in terms of a accident, but it didn't change the outcome. I believe the accident didn't happen. They figured out the grav drive, but he just mysteriously disappeared. He's still stuck as a Starborn. And then I believe after being stuck as a Starborn for so long, believing, that he was always going to be that way and not knowing what he could do, and then figuring out that he could go back in time and probably prevent what was going to happen and then start over as, just moving forward as Victor again and not a Starborn. And then when he figures out that there's nothing that's going to change it, he loses his mind. So he decides to play chess with real people. So he resets the universe, in my opinion, the same. It's just one universe that you're in. Every time you step through that unity, you're in one universe. You're just resetting the same one you just left. That's my opinion. He lets you find the artifacts, you find the temples, you gain powers. And when you go to see him again, you say hello, and he says, "Are you enjoying the view? Eternity, I never get tired of it." And he says, your guy says, "You always say that." And he says, "Do I?" He doesn't remember that. But you do. You remember everything. But if you're going to another universe, some things change. Like I said, we'll see different scenarios where things are different at the lodge when you get there. But all the knowledge, but the hunter and the emissary don't. And they keep telling you what they are believing, that this is the way it is. And how the hell do they know? They don't know who you are when you start. But then they always say they know where this ends. How do they know where it always ends at the buried temple? If it's a new universe, they've never met you before, how do they always know that it ends at the buried temple? Which, by the way, you can go to that place before, in case you want to just go over there and fight some Ecliptic and grab some loot. You can actually go there to Masada 3 and go to the Ecliptic base and go at it, and then go there before you have to go there. So just in case you guys want to do that. But here's where the illusion comes in. Einstein said that time is an illusion. When you go through there, he has, in my opinion, lost his mind. He can make scenarios where you see different things when you go back to the lodge, and sometimes you see the same thing. And what if he is just somebody like a kid with a magnifying glass trying to burn some ants with the sun? What if he is just an overgrown child now and just wants to play chess with people? So he puts you through this thing over and over and over again, because right before you go to the Unity, he says, who are you going to be? What choices will you make? Well, why do you want to know? How do you know what I'm going to do? You're sending me to another universe, but the universe is the same? There's no real changes to anything at all that you see in terms of the actual universe, in terms of the planets you go to, things that you do. But you do see a difference sometimes when you go to the lodge. How come nobody else remembers? But you do. You retain all your memory. And what if the whole purpose of you going through the Unity and gaining your powers to reset, just to continue to make your power stronger? What if you could become strong enough to defeat what I call the Keeper of the Unity? What if you could fight him? Or her? What if you could fight that person? Or that entity, that Starborn, and beat him? Would you be in charge of it? Would you be able to do anything? if you're only in one universe, that would mean that every other Starborn is from the same universe. And if they are from the same universe also, what do? How do you, I mean, do you tell them that everything has changed? That you've never been in a different universe? You've been in the same universe, and these guys have been chasing the artifacts and trying to grant these powers because they want to get back to their own universe, when in reality they are just in the same universe that you're in, and that's just how it's been. You're not in a different universe, and this guy is just resetting it. And let's say you can go back and you can beat him, and then you decide you're in control of it now. So what do you do with it? Do you continue to allow people to go through and become Starborn? Or do you decide to close it? Do you decide to just continue living, the life that you have, and allowing yourself to move through different things and create new... Put it this way. Say you do the Crimson Fleet mission, and there's something that sticks out for me in the Crimson Fleet mission at the end. If you side with the UC, and your guy has a chance to ask Akande why, but Akande asks, what about Neva Mora? And your guy can ask why, and he can give you the same answer. She was second in command. This is what I would do. If it's a reset in time, if it's a reset in time, and you can stop the reset, and you just continue living on, what if you find out later that Neva Mora is actually related to Commander Akande? What if that's his daughter or his granddaughter? And then what happens if, put this in your mind for a moment. What if he decides to rebuild the Crimson Fleet? What if he never gave any of that money except the money he gave to you, but didn't return the money to anyone else? And he rebuilt the Crimson Fleet. What can you do? What would you change? I know in one of my videos I said that I wish that we could, like romance other people, for example, like his lieutenant, his second in command on the Vigilance. Let's say you're able to move forward and you get married or whatever, have kids, blah blah blah. What if you're the one who first brought down the Crimson Fleet, and now you got to do it again, but this time the bad guy is Commander Akande? And what if you never have to go through that unity again? But what if you can use it to fix any mistakes? But it'd be different for you because you weren't in an accident like he was. Say you're able to destroy him. You're able to move anywhere in time. In your lifetime only. What would you do? I honestly don't believe that they have multiple universes in this game. I believe it is an illusion. Like Albert Einstein believes that time is an illusion. And when you go and see different versions of what's happening in the lodge, it's just an illusion of a grown person playing a game. Now, there's a lot more in terms of what I think that I could express and give you more ideas on. But then this video would be longer than it's going to be. So, that's just the beginning of it. I want to know what you think it is. I want to know what you believe is happening. Give me your ideas. Do you think there's multiple universes? Do you think they decide that there's multiverse because that's where everybody's going? That's the craze that's happening now for movies and television shows and everything. Or do you think it's a reset? Who do you think is the first Starborn? Do you think that it is Victor Eisen, who's the first Starborn? Where did they come from? Because we don't know. What if that's what we're going to learn in the expansion? That where the Starborn came from. I really want to know. And if you want to continue the conversation, leave, your comments in the leave your ideas in the comments below. I try and look at all of them, and I try and reply. But if you want me to do a follow-up video to whatever anybody's said in there, I'll definitely do that. But I hope that you think about it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Do me a favor. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And I'll see you in the next video.